What if I told you there is an engine in Forza Horizon 6 that 99.5% of players haven't used or even heard about yet in the game? It's an engine that doesn't only make one specific car pretty OP, no, it actually buffs every single car which is able to get the engine. And no guys, we're not talking about the obvious V10 centrifugal supercharger meta in Forza Horizon 6 today. It's something else. And what does this lovely Lamborghini Huracan STO actually have to do with it? Well, apparently nothing, since we're going to talk about the Audi R8 LMS today and its super crazy engine, and why Forza basically hides it in plain sight. We know that until now all sorts of Audi R8s were pretty mediocre in Forza Horizon, but from my latest world record attempt that I uploaded a few days ago, we already know that this is the best car for Toge racing in S1 class. Why? Welcome back everybody, I'm your favorite German potato, and the main reason basically is this lovely stock powertrain that doesn't only make the R8 LMS OP, no, every single Audi R8 benefits from this engine. And to understand the reasoning, we have to check the table below and the yellow line, which basically shows the power band of this car. And we see that it's basically a straight line. And that means that the car is actually never really losing any power, also when you're getting close to the rev limiter. And we can see this effect even better when we compare it to the two other V10 engines that we have available here for the car. So right now the yellow one is the solid line, but this goes to a dashed line now. And the solid line is our compared engine. And you see that both of these other engines totally lose their power at the end of the gear basically, while yeah, our engine is just going and going and going. But even better is we have to zoom in very, very closely right now. Do you see this little edge at the end? That means at the end of the gear, close to the rev limiter, the car is even getting more power. And Forza doesn't really see that, Forza doesn't really know that. In these tables, Forza basically only shows you the RPM until 9,000, so when the rev limiter basically starts. But what we also see is when I get around this turn and overtake everybody here, that we're actually shifting at 9.5k, right? It's not a 10k guys, take a look at the rev limiter right now. No, we're shifting at 9.4, 9.5, something like this. So seeing this edge there, you know, basically like a VTEC that kicks in, tells us that the car actually gains more power after the rev limiter starts, and the PI system doesn't know that. So the edge there starts closely before 9,000, and we see that Forza tells us the car features 643 horsepower. Well, let's check the telemetry to see how it looks after 9,000. The telemetry is open, and now let's take a look at this guy. So from second to third gear now, take a look at the power, top left there. We actually go over 700 horsepower, as you can see. We go way above 643, what the game is telling us. Okay, now I messed this up. I hit this traffic car, that's awesome. And here we go, we shift. So you always get close to 700 horsepower if you just wait until 9,400 RPM, something like this, 9,500 RPM. So yeah, Forza basically doesn't know how good this engine is beyond the rev limiter. And this is then also reflected in the PI points that these engines cost, since Forza underestimates this engine. At the same time, however, this engine isn't perfect because the acceleration is actually pretty mediocre. When we compare the engine to the two other V10s again, we see that the torque and also the power in lower RPM sections is much better. Means the acceleration of this car is pretty bad. But there's one little workaround to make this work. We go to drivetrain, we go to our transmission, and now we have to install the race transmission. And yes, the one with 10 gears. So due to that, we obviously have to shift much more often, but we also reach the end of the gear much more often, right? So we can use the strength of this engine much better since, yeah, you are in this top power section much more often. Basically 9 times, 10 times sometimes, compared to 5 or 6 times in, yeah, a normal race transmission. And before I jump to another Audi R8, which definitely benefits from this crazy engine, including a full tuning process in this case, by the way, also another S1 class build, I want to show you this car, the R8 LMS online, to just show you its greatness now. We're at the Tokyo Railway Sprint in our lovely R8 LMS, and guys, oh my, oh, there's Bowie Knife 99. Guys, this is going to be interesting. Will he wreck us? Will he destroy our race? And we see some other very, very good cars in this lobby. The 620R, the 650S Spider is amazing. The Viper 08, of course, driven by Bowie Knife. And also the Ferrari Enzo can be another nice, lovely S1 class all-rounder. And here we go. And you already see that my gears, you know, like we are already at gear number 7, gear 8. So you're not allowed being lazy when it comes to shifting in this car, right? This is certainly your duty to shift all the time. And always try to go at high revs, guys. This is super important. We talked about this to really unlock the full potential of the engine all the time. And now we got the Celine overshooting this so much. Dude. Oh my god, what is he doing? Oh my god. And I also don't really know, actually I do know, that if you're an automatic driver, this won't be your car, because your automatic will shift at 9,000 RPM and not at 9.5k. We talked about this before. Forza doesn't know the real strengths of these engines, means your automatic gearbox will certainly shift earlier. And where's Bowie Knife? Just at the back, driving like a real Bowie Knife. Is it the real one? I don't know. While we are hunting the Enzo in front of us now. He's probably a fair driver. I'm going on it right now. Oh my god. Too wide into this. Oh, that was close, but I think he also helped us there. He's a kind driver. Thanks for being so kind, mate. You are the best. But you can see, guys, the R8 LMS, an amazing handling all-around car, so to say. No crazy top speed, that's also something we've seen. So I think the top speed goes around 315, 320 kilometers per hour, but you really need long straights. But on most of the tracks for S1 class, you don't need this when you have such an amazing car which shines everywhere else. Okay, after this pretty eventful race, let's head to the other Audi I was promising you, and I want to showcase the Audi R8 V10 Plus from 2016, which also gets this particular engine. So let's go to custom upgrade and start with the engine, obviously. And guys, take a look at this now. We start at 731 PI, and using this engine even lowers our PI by 3. It's so crazy because take a look at it. Of course, we're losing acceleration. That's something we talked about earlier. The acceleration of this engine isn't pretty good, but we are winning 41 horsepower and lose like 80 kilogram, which is super crazy. And we still lose PI. And we can also compare this to the Racing V12, which is just below. Like, you don't even get more weight loss with the Racing V12. And we know this is like the most efficient swap when it comes to engines. So yep, obviously let's get this engine and let's move on. I mean, drivetrain swap, nope, we don't want to have rear drive cars, obviously, and there is no aspiration, so you don't even need a centrifugal supercharger with this engine, and this is also something very interesting. In terms of bumpers, guys, I mean, you know, we have to go with Forza Aero. Unfortunately, the Audi stock wing isn't adjustable, unfortunately, so we have to go with Forza Aero. Let's head to the tire compound, and yes, our car features rally tires. We know they're very PI efficient, so let's go with these, and we actually get more lateral Gs than with the stock tires. That's also something I have to tell you. The front tire width is also something we are going to install in this case, which is something new, or not something new, but you don't do it always in this game. The rear tires are also super important, obviously, for grip. And before we head to the rims later, we also go to the front track width and get the first one and also the rear track width. We move on and go to drivetrain and start with the transmission, guys. And, you know, we've talked about this before. Let's get the 10-speed race transmission. Like, getting the 6-speed version would even increase our PI, even though the 10-speed is better for this car. So get this. The race driveline is something we want to install this time. And in terms of differential, we go with the off-road diff. Apparently, cars that are all-wheel drive stock mostly use the off-road diff. So let's get this and get to platform and handling and get the rally springs and dampers. I mean, I've talked about this before, you know, for some more initial rotation, stuff like that. So that's why we have to install them. Anti-roll bars, always install them. We get the roll cage for some better handling, obviously, in the end. Let's get the rate reduction, which is important still in S1 class for these builds. In A class, we don't do it anymore. You know the new meta, right? Viper engine and centrifugal supercharger, you know, but we don't do it here. And in terms of engine, it's so easy. Let's remove the restrictors. And yeah, this engine makes it very, very easy for us. we have some more power then. But you also see that we still have 2 PI left, so let's go for some final touches now. The first thing we do is we go to drivetrain. We have this driveline already installed, the race driveline, so we can't even improve our car in this way. But there's the clutch left, as you can see, and it brings us 2 kilograms, so the car will be slightly lighter, but obviously we're only using manual shifting due to the sequential gearbox means, you know, the clutch doesn't have any other, advantage in this case. And now the last thing we do is we have to find fitting rims that are slightly lighter than the one we have installed now to get this car to 800. Oh, come on, these look okay. These look okay. Yeah, let's go with these guys. And this is how we finalized our car. We are at S1 800 now. We can install our parts. 790 horsepower, so more than the R8 LMS now, but we also have less handling basically. So in terms of tire pressure, we're reducing it slightly, but it already looks pretty nicely. Something like 1.8 definitely works for most of those rally tires builds. Watch out that the front tires are always slightly softer than the rear tires, which should be the case now. And one could certainly think that gearing is very, very complicated now, but the standard settings aren't that bad actually. So in terms of final drive, we can make it slightly longer, but don't have to since the gears are pretty perfect already. And the rest of the gears can then be tweaked accordingly. So I'd like to make the first gear slightly longer so that we don't hit the rev limiter right after the start. That's always super important. And yeah, longer means reducing this value. Same goes for the second gear and also for gear number 3 and 4, but there we all only made minor changes and now it's basically the stock setting that we're using. Which brings us to alignment, and yep, we have our conservative settings that I've already shared in my huge how to tune tutorial in terms of S1 class, so nothing new here, always stay between 0 and 1 most of the time though. The toe is your last resort if you want to address certain driving characteristics, but the car felt okay, so I just kept them at 0, and the front caster at 7.0 is, yeah, something that's always the case, most of the time. As mostly, I'm going to use 165 for anti-roll bars, and if this is too aggressive, you know, if you think your car is too twitchy, guys, you know, increase this to, I don't know, 5, or make the rear, I don't know, 60, 58, something like that. The more you bring them together, the stiffer your car basically. But I can handle it, so I'm going with 165. In terms of springs, guys, it's important that your front springs are softer than your rear springs, and I'm also going with conservative settings here, which mostly work, so go with something in the middle. 60 to 80 can certainly work. They're very, very close to each other, as you can see. And definitely don't forget we installed the rally suspension, means this car is pretty high at this point, but at the front you want to have the maximum value, and at the back we're going with 12.7. And in terms of damping, you always want to be in the middle here, so let's go with something like 9.5 for the front, and let's reduce the rear a bit to 10.2. And in terms of bump stiffness, we always start at a value around 3 to 4, so this is basically the range you want to be in all the time. And I'm going with 3.4 for the front bumps and 3.7 for the rear. So let's move on with aero. And in terms of front downforce, you always want to have this maximized for full corner speed basically. And we can now adjust our rear accordingly. And for this car, it felt pretty nicely going with 195. You know, still enough top speed, but also, yeah, good drivability. To make the car a bit more stable on the brakes, you can put it a bit more to the front, so like 51%, 52% in terms of braking balance. I go with 52. And the pressure, guys, you know, you can just use the standard stuff as always. Take whichever you like the most. And the lovely differential settings are 100, 0. If you want to know more about the differential stuff, guys, certainly check out my huge setup tutorial, my tuning tutorial that I uploaded before a few months ago. No, a few weeks ago actually. The game isn't out that long, right? And in terms of rear, I'd say something like 103 can already work. So, you know, that the car is slightly more stable. Like if you go with 100 here as well, the car might be a bit too slippery. And finally, moving to the center balance, which we put at 72. There's still enough power to the front so that you don't like spin all the time. I felt this is nice. Which means our fake R8 LMS is now ready to conquer online races. And now let's hunt these people down without mercy online in our R8. And how is this guy Prestige 10 already? Nismo, I want to know your location. It's the Ito sprint that we're racing, and I'm probably letting those people pass. Yeah, come on, let's go. So let's try to win this race in the other Audi R8. It's not the LMS, it's just the regular V10 Plus One. From 2016, the R8 LMS is slightly better, guys. That's something I can tell you. This car here is some kind of nice all-round, yeah, maybe off-meta choice, you know. It's close to the best cars, or let's say it's not too far away from the best cars, but it's also not OP. But very, very good. And only due to 10 gears with this crazy R8 LMS engine. So once again, guys, always use the full range of your gears. And if you see me shifting earlier sometimes, it's not because I want to, but it's because I'm just making the mistake, because I'm too stupid. The guy in front of us in the Viper is enjoying the game. I'm enjoying the game too, guys. And let me know in the comments how you enjoy those two R8s. And I can also tell you that you can also tune the Audi R8 from, 2013 into A-Class with this engine. This also works. And I think it even got this nice roof box then included. So yeah, this is certainly very, very interesting. Saucy Yawcy in front of us. Can we catch this guy in the CLK GTR, one of my favorite cars ever made? I just love this group of Le Mans cars, you know, end of 90s. That was the best generation we ever got. Okay, so the Viper hunts us. It's the Viper 13. And the CLK GTR might win this race. Let's see if he makes a mistake. I mean, I was waiting in the beginning of the race, right? So definitely the reason and not the skill issue that I was showing before. But the race isn't over yet. And you see that this Audi is, you know, just like the R8, pretty easy to drive. I mean, it's all-wheel drive swapped. It's very, very active right now with the tuning I'm using. And, you know, if you just copy the tune and make slight differences to some parts, you know, anti-roll bars, for example, and stuff like that, you can even make this car more stable. But guys, take a look at this. The CLK GTR. Can he handle the Johnson pressure? We are getting closer. Okay, his line looks good. Oh no, he can't. He can't. We are overtaking him at the end of the straight. Oh my god, that's just Hollywood. Need me as a director, guys? Let me know. So after winning this in style, I've also liked to tackle about the little elephant in the room. Like, why is this hidden in front of everyone's eyes? Well, the problem is only Audis get this swap. Not a single other car, and yeah, that's basically the reason that nobody knows this engine. And since most of the other Audis in this game are pretty mediocre, there is for now not a single other car, apart from R8s, which really benefits in the way that it's like one of the best cars of their class. But there might be a car or two later in the life cycle of Forza Horizon 6, we will see. I now thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little change of pace here for this video. And oh, why is Norfy Dorfy in my lobby? My community member. To be part of our lovely community, check the Discord link in the description of the video. Join there, and then you can also be part of my recording sessions. And of course, you know, in terms of our community discussions and stuff like that. I'm your favorite German potato. Smash like, subscribe. Now check the world record hunt in the R8 LMS if you haven't already. They're asking for me to get into a convoy. But it's very hot here, and I stopped recording now. Cheers.